So the other great thing about David is he's an artist, a visual artist, and all these pieces of art on the wall are his, including stuff that he left behind at the Beat Festival. So that's Jack Kerouac and Lou Welch is over there. This is Lou Welch, right? And he's got his card on everything. There's a price list, and all the paintings are drawings are very, very reasonably priced as well. So we'll sit down and we'll have a discussion. So, David, first question: why poetry?
Well, I tell you the truth, I don't remember starting writing, so I can't say, here's why,
Okay.
It's just what I fell into, mostly, I guess, because of Cummings. I just read some stuff, and I said, this is cool, I could maybe do this. So that's all I remember. I'm literally way the hell back.
So, are you talking high school, junior? 10?
10, 12.
10 years?
Yeah.
Wow.
Goofing around with stuff like that. Really awful, horrifying stuff. But yeah, that's why.
Wow.
Yeah.
And,
now, why poetry now, though, is a different.
Ah,
now
okay,
it's
why
kind of a
poetry
choice,
now?
right?
Okay, yes, okay,
why not
good.
fiction? It's clean. It's so clean, and it's so, it has to be just the right word in just the right place. It's like playing pool.
Mm-hmm.
Just the cut has to be just right, or it doesn't work. So, that's why now.
Okay. And along with that, so can you talk a little bit about the interaction between you as a poet and you as a visual artist?
Yeah, well, there actually hasn't been interaction for a long time. I used to look for it myself. It would actually come in I'm going to paint for a while, now I'm going to write for a while, now I'm going to paint for a while. And I didn't, do this.
Well, I noticed there's words on your work.
That's somewhere in there. It started to become, what I finally realized was I actually looked at it because it seemed kind of a problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, well, the poetry seems to be very clear.
Mm-hmm.
It's very simple. Some art forms are for communication and some aren't, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, in my opinion anyway, so anything that involves words seems to be about communication, I would think.
Okay.
You're not trying to be intentionally obscure.
Right.
So I thought, well, the poetry is very, the action isn't hidden. This isn't secret. It's not mysterious in any way. So why is the painting so obscure, right? What's happening there? And I finally realized, well, what's happening is it's because it's not words. It's because it's words communicate. Maybe images don't. They're more subjective. They're more personal. So I don't force them to interact. The closest they get to interacting is, like you pointed out, the words that are on them. But even then, that's not a title. The only thing that, like, if there's a word in a painting, it's the same as if there's an image in a painting. It's just what's happening in my life right now. Like, this thing is happening, so I might write down this thing, whatever it is.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you said you started writing poetry around 10. When did you start with the visual art?
One of those family apocryphal tales. Apparently I drew to communicate before I talked. That's what I heard. So then, whenever that is.
Yeah, when did you start talking?
Yeah. What, 1, 2, I don't know.
Okay, that's
So I would draw, stuff like that.
Awesome. Wow. Okay, so what do you want your poetry to do? So you're writing a poem. What do you want it to do?
Focus something. Just shine a light on something, just for a moment, not forever. Just like, look at this. That's pretty cool. Just that. Yeah, exactly. That, yeah. Just shine a light on it for a second. Maybe somebody will look at it, All it really is just it says, I looked at it. I like this image. I liked this. I thought it was interesting.
So you're sharing with the world?
I just write it down. If it gets read, great. That's the best. That's the outcome. But I just write it down. I'm going to write it down anyway.
Wonderful. And so that segues really nicely into the next question. So in order, once you write it down, you make chapbooks, right?
I do.
And I guess David will show these later and talk about them later, right?
I can do it now.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah,
David
I
does
mean, you guys know
chapbooks.
what chapbooks are, I'm sure, if you've ever written poetry.
Explain it for the new people.
Yeah, chapbook is, it's for somebody that's too lazy to try to actually get published by real people and get validation, so I just make it myself. Unlike Joe, who actually did get
I wrote many chapbooks.
Yeah, we have a lot of chapbooks out there.
Yeah.
Chapbooks are, it's just a little, like 30 poems put together and homemade, and I hand paint each cover. I design a cover that I can paint, kind of fill it in. So each cover is hand designed, and this is my Twirl Around is my 27th chapbook, and they're out there all over the place. I generally give them away and sell a few and do that kind of stuff.
It's the elephant and the dog that are friends. You guys remember that?
Yeah, if you remember that story, oh, it's a phenomenal story.
And good. Bunny rabbit in a hat.
That's
So,
Roosevelt.
so David's got a bunch more of his art, and so a labor of love.
Oh yeah, definitely, sure. They were just, like I said, I just write it down. And then, then eventually I have all these poems, and I want to design the cover, really. I think that's why I make the book, because I want to do the cover so much.
So you
So I
just need
kind of,
something to go
yeah, I just
with
need
the
a cover.
covers.
In fact, I don't even really need, they could do recipes, just so I do the cover. But it's so fun to do the cover, so, that's why I make it into a book. And is it true, do you know this chapbooks are, they're called chapbooks because they were leather? Is that what
I
it is?
don't know.
They originally were leather.
Yeah,
That's
I
what
should
I've,
look into that. That sounds good.
yeah, that's just what I've heard.
Okay. Chaps, like leather chaps. like
Yeah,
when
it goes together.
cowboys would retire, they'd take their chaps and
Make it into a book.
make poetry books. Yeah.
A really bad.
Okay. Well, one more question before
Yeah.
we hear your poetry. What do you want potential poets to know?
You know
There's
what?
a lot of people in here. Right?
Yeah. It's not so much like, I teach visual art, right? And so I have a lot of information about that. Like here's how you do this, or here's what you need to know. But I don't really teach poetry, and I don't think of it as, I'm not sure. I mean, I know you do this, but I don't know. I don't know it's teachable. I don't know I could teach it.
Why?
Because it just seems so subjective, I mean, beyond form and meter, but just like the content of the thing seems so subjective. I mean, you've done this. I'm sure haven't you found just, one time I found a AAA guidebook, and it had one of the most beautiful poems I've ever read in it. It said, as the highway continues west, the land begins to rise. I thought, God, I love that so much, yeah. It's such a beautiful poem, and so I don't know that that's teachable,
Yeah. Okay. Well, we got to make a living, right?
It's a bluff.
That's a buck.
I'll tell you. You do it well.
All right. Well, so we've got a little background now, and here's the important stuff. David's going to read some of his work in 20 minutes or so, 20,
Yeah.
25 minutes.
You know what? I just marked the whole, but way too much stuff. So just fire off a rocket or something when you want me to shut up.
And we'll do that.
Yeah.
Okay, David Thornberry, do you want the lectern?
I probably need it. I just need something to put stuff on, honestly.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let me by way of just kind of saying who I am, read you something that I think sums up what I do a little bit. Come on, where are you? Yeah. Okay. It's hard to eat jelly beans, mostly because I feel bad eating a whole handful, or half a handful, or more than one at a time. I really need to look at each jelly bean by itself alone and recognize and acknowledge what color, what flavor it is. Not just mix it in with all the others in a muddy, fruity, too sweet mouthful. Eating them one by one, looking at each jelly bean. Red is sort of cherry, green is lime or maybe mint. Orange is like red but different. Black is anise, and white tastes like white. Takes forever. By the way, I don't title, Joe and I were just talking about this. I don't title anything because it just feels like by the time I write the poem, it's like the title seems like another poem. So I just, if it's not in the poem, I don't title this stuff either. I don't know what it is with me and titles. I'll figure it out one of these days. Okay. Entropy means that everything is constantly trying to come apart. The universe wants to even itself out, to make everything and everywhere the same. Smooth away mountains, fill in canyons, level out and settle down into a lukewarm brown molecular soup. Entropy is why you don't see those old-timey bicycles around anymore. The big front wheel got smaller and the little back wheel got bigger until both wheels were the same size. Sometimes, after buying their bread and milk, butter and Doritos, cookies and dish soap at the H-E-B, people that live close but don't own a car will push the grocery cart across the parking lot, down the street and all the way home. Once everything is put away, they abandon the cart, push it somewhere not too far, but not in their yard, and it sits, waiting. But this is Texas, ma'am, and the grocery store sends out a big flatbed trailer behind a Ford F-350, and a crew of guys rides around the neighborhood, finding those stray calves, lost and stranded away from the herd, pushed against telephone poles and mailboxes, up in the side canyons of South 2nd Street, Live Oak, and Cumberland Avenue. A while back, I don't know how long now, but my best friend in the whole world, Traveler, my buddy Traveler, died. And you probably guess he was a dog. And I wrote a lot of poetry about Traveler. This is one of those. Watching Traveler swim. I like to believe maybe once in my life, maybe just for a few minutes, maybe when the cue ball cleared the 12 on a jump shot and I made the 8. Maybe that night in Hot Springs when everybody really liked my poems. Maybe that time I jumped off that cliff and splashed into the Yellowstone River. Maybe the look on my face or the way I was standing when I bought you the fisherman in his slicker doorstop that day in Provincetown. Watching Travelers swim. Maybe once in my life, just for a few minutes, I was that beautiful. These are all from Twirl Around, by the way. This is my latest. It's not super new. It's not like yesterday new, but it's my latest book. There's a new one, about half finished now. It's called Climb Down, but it's not anywhere near done. I like to buy a bag of roasted in the shell peanuts and share them with my dog. I shell them one by one, and I eat one and he eats one. If you do this, be sure and take the little red skin off each peanut before you give the peanut to your dog. The red skin is called the paper. The paper can choke your dog. I don't know why people can swallow the paper but not dogs. Anyway, sometimes a peanut will fall into the big bowl of shells, and to get that peanut up out of there, you have to pinch it ever so delicately between thumb and forefinger. Too much pressure, you push too hard, and the peanut, dog dangerous paper and all, will slip down deeper into the empty shells, and you might as well forget it forever. There was some lesson here, something about retrieving the peanut and the empty shells and too much pressure, something that I should be able to apply to other parts of my life, besides the part about eating peanuts with my dog. But I can't quite figure out what it is exactly. The limestone blocks that border the parking lot of the antique store are hundreds of millions of years older, way more antique than anything they are selling in there. Even that $900 Republic of Texas oak dresser that we think might work in the bedroom. This is the poem I wrote after Kathy and I watched a movie about Harper Lee and Truman Capote's relationship, and it's an amazing movie, and I can't remember the title. What's it called?
Harper and Lee? No, that's not it. I forget.
I can't remember either. It's a great movie, though. I think maybe Nell and Truman are at the center of the universe. The tension and the balance between them, spinning off, yinning and yanging everything else into existence. Matter and antimatter, does and doesn't matter. Locked forever together, non-locally reacting to stimuli in identically opposite ways. Scout and Dill spinning around and around their center of a shared childhood in Monroeville, Alabama. The mockingbird and the peacock standing in stark relief against the blank page of the Kansas landscape, keeping reality together. It's a great movie. Sandra Bullock plays Harper Lee. That's all I can remember.
It's probably the best thing you ever did.
Yeah, it's great. Let me go back in time here and grab another chapbook. This is Something Beautiful. This is it's about this YouTube video story about there's a rehab center for injured animals, and a dog and an elephant made this amazing, unlikely friendship. This is about our cats. We have 3 cats who came to us on a Thanksgiving day one time. They just showed up on the porch. They were tiny little freezing kittens, and we took them in to figure we'd find them homes later, and that's, 7 years later? They're still there. Let us in, let us in. Naturally, I have the door locked. I'm in the bathroom. Let us in, let us in. My cats miss me, I guess, just for those few minutes I'm in there. And like little zombies, little cat zombies, they claw at the door, push it back and forth against the lock. Desperate paws appear and disappear beneath the door, seeking purchase. Let us in, let us in. These are from Coyote. That's this one. And this is Lu Chi told Ezra Pound, Pound told Gary Snyder, Snyder told me. When making an axe handle, the pattern is near at hand. This morning, a city worker, the guy that hangs off the big truck and empties the recycling blue boxes into it, aluminum, glass, plastic, and paper if it's not raining, gave us a new blue plastic box for aluminum, glass, plastic, and paper if it's not raining, and threw our old and broken plastic blue recycling box in with the plastic to be recycled. Round and around and around. Hey, you guys both did ice cream truck duty, didn't you?
Yes.
One time. This is for you.
Oh, okay.
Ice Cream Joe, what wisdom are you keeping from me? What peaceful secret do you know? You drive your truck all day, every day. The kids line up, money in hand. They buy ice cream. They are happy. Good work done. But that music, Joe, Ice Cream Joe, that music. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da, sproing, crazy laughter. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da, sproing. How is it that you haven't driven that truck to an empty field and dropped your half-smoked cigarette into the gas tank? What prayer, what mantra holds back the fireball, the lake of melting ice cream, its colors bleeding together?